Most people were trying to do everything they could to show respect for their neighbor, to help them when they had difficulties or they're out of work, give them help when they were sick.
1 year ago today, then Governor Gary Herbert issued a state of emergency in Utah for COVID-19, even though we had not yet had a case here in Utah at that point. But that would all change in just a matter of hours. Since then, of course, our world has completely changed as we knew it. Thanks so much for joining us tonight as we look back at the sobering milestone. I'm Amy Nay.
And I'm Brian Cheney. We've got team coverage for you tonight. Diego Romo shows us how health experts and so-called long haulers are reflecting on the past year.
But we start with Spencer Joseph, who is live at the Capitol for us. He spoke one-on-one with former Governor Gary Herbert about his feelings as we look back.
And as you said, that all would change in a matter of hours, because today is also the 1-year anniversary of the very first case of community detection of COVID-19 in the state of Utah. So it certainly was a busy day for all involved. I spoke with Governor Herbert as well as a couple of other people involved in that key day, and they reflected on their feelings at the time.
Earlier today, I issued an executive order declaring a state of emergency due to the spread of novel coronavirus in our country. And I'd like to let you know that declaring a state of emergency does not indicate that our state is in distress, but we are in a state of readiness.
March 6, 2020, Utah had no cases of COVID-19 yet. Governor Gary Herbert issues a state of emergency proactively.
It was new, and so we did not know. We've had threats of epidemics and pandemics in the past. So we didn't know what to expect. We tried to do everything we could to keep it in control. Our state response systems are prepared to help when we see a diagnosis of COVID-19 in Utah.
And the state didn't have to wait long for that diagnosis.
A few hours later, we found out that the first positive case in Utah had been identified.
The patient is a resident of Davis County and is believed to have been exposed to COVID-19 on the Grand Princess cruise ship.
That just became a really long day.
Joe Doherty was a big part of the communication flow in those initial days.
Coming through to that realization is a really interesting mental game that you have to play with yourself when you realize I'm going to be committed to this for a really long time.
It's across the board, probably the most dramatic thing that's happened in most all of our lifetimes, short of war.
And a shutdown loomed.
We set the goal really pretty simply that we need to protect people's health, but we also want to make sure we protected the economy. And that's really kind of an optimal balance point, which is not easy to find, but I think Utah, by and large, found it.
Former Governor Herbert admits we had our ups and downs.
Particularly as we had kids come back into school, and then those in college. That's where we found we had some spreading, and the casual gatherings where there's no structure.
But with the hard work of Utahns,
we're trying to do the best we can with the information we had at the time, which was really kind of an evolution. We learned more, we did different things, and got to the place we're at.
And for Governor Herbert, that's the biggest thing he learned from the pandemic in those initial days and beyond, the resiliency and hard work of the state.
But what I've come to appreciate more than ever before, that maybe I would not have appreciated without this pandemic, is the goodness of the people of Utah. Our slogan in Utah is Life Elevated. It really is not just a slogan, it is a way of life. It's how we ought to conduct ourselves to elevate us, those that we know, and those that we don't know. That's the core of Utah.
The governor also emphasized that we are not out of the woods yet, that we still have cases here in Utah 1 year later, and things, even though they are looking up, it's not time to let our guard down yet. On Capitol Hill, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.